What's up, everyone? It's Adam Zdroik. I'm talking Major League Soccer. Yes, MLS. I'm going to go over some bets. I'm going to go over the lineups a little bit. It's going to be a pretty quick show. There's only 6 matches on Saturday, as it's the I don't even know what MLS calls it, international break, I guess. But if you're unfamiliar with MLS, if you're only a European follower, MLS is a bit different here in that it's the international break and there are still teams playing. There are 6 matches Saturday, and then I think all but one team plays on Wednesday. MLS doesn't care about international breaks. They just keep going. They're just like, okay, if you're a really good team and have 6 guys playing for national teams, doesn't matter. Find the players to play. We're just going to keep going. MLS doesn't care. But I'm just going to go over a few things here. The big thing over the next week are these international games. But as you can see on the lineup page here, to get access to this lineup page, rotowire.com, go to soccer. Uh, we have all the same stuff for MLS as we do for Premier League, as we do for Ligue 1, as La Liga, Serie A, Bundesliga, Liga MX as well, back in 14 days. We got all the same stuff. NWSL as well. So these 6 matches on Saturday. To get into this lineups page, rotowire.com/soccer trial. Free 48-hour trial. But these lineups are going to help you a little bit. And then once DraftKings starts coming out, we will have cheat sheets and all that good stuff as well for DFS purposes. But for this lineup page here, I'm just gonna go over some of these absences because that's the main thing that we're gonna want to go over ahead of betting these matches, because some of these odds will change when these lineups come out. The odds will go in a certain team's favor, and we're gonna try and project where these odds are gonna go, and that means probably gonna bet on these matches. Maybe if I remember, I'm gonna bet on these matches a little more before these lineups come out, because I think we will have an advantage here. So I was going to run through injuries, absences, all whatnot here. So start with this first match, 3:30 p.m. Eastern, NYCFC against Columbus Crew. Keaton Parks went off with a minor issue last weekend. I think he's fine. He should start. We'll see. You can see the questionable tag on him, but I think he's fine. Uh, NYC's main absence will be Chanot on the back line. Um, we'll see how they line up. They've been struggling this season, so they've been changing formations. So we could see Hawk in the back line again, or we could see like a 4-2-3-1. We'll see how they line up. Columbus, their big absence is Zelarayan. That'll be something that I'm not sure how much. I mean, he is arguably their best player. Him and Cucho Hernandez are their best players. Alexandru Matan is going to get the start for him up front. So you got Zelarayan out. This is one of the matches that I don't see a massive edge for either side in terms of absences. And NYC has just been struggling tons, so I'm not even sure I'm going to bet this one. But it is a standalone match. Columbus matches have been really up and down, really kind of crazy. But maybe Zelarayan out means less goals. It was their last match in which Columbus had a last-second winner. Surprisingly, this didn't get picked up by more outlets, but Columbus won their last match with a goal that was scored in their own half. It was scored at, I don't know, I think it was about the midway point. And was it? Yeah, the Zelarayan chipped the goalkeeper from however many yards out. Absolutely ridiculous, but don't really have a massive lean on this one. NYC slightly favored, but I don't think it means too much. Actually, I'll go over my bets after I run through lineups here. So Revs home against Orlando City. Orlando City playing really well last few matches, but their main absences. So they're not going to have Pedro Galese in net. They're going to start Staj Duhar. I'm not sure I'm saying that one right. They're going to be without arguably their best player in Facundo Torres, and Cartagena is also out, more of a defensive midfielder. So they got a couple playmakers in the midfield that are out. And as you can see in this lineup, Maybe Thor Halson starts. He doesn't have a ton of time this season. Maybe someone else starts. I think they have gone to 3 center backs at times this season. Maybe they do that in this one. The Revs don't have too many absences. Petrovic is out. McCoon is out. That's kind of it. They've been dealing with a bunch of injuries lately, but they could get Brandon By back at right back. And if he's starting, that's a pretty decent boost because otherwise they don't really have anyone there. I think Noel Buck is also back from his absence, so he could come in for Latif Blessing. Otherwise, Carlos Heel and Gustavo Boo are there. Boo, Bow, Boo, Bow. I'll call Bow. Pretty much a standard lineup for the Revs. I'm leaning on the Revs, but the last time I bet them at home, it was a crazy 3-3 match against the Fire. So, again, I'll go over my picks afterwards. DC United home against Real Salt Lake. So Real Salt Lake probably missing more than any other team here in terms of the international break. So they're going to be without they're 3-4 attacking players here. So Rubio Rubin's out, Sabarino's out, Ojeda's out, Anderson Julio's out. So all those guys playing on the international break here, playing with their national teams. So we could get a different formation. We'll see how they line up. Again, Diego Luna, a 19-year-old, seems like a pretty bright future for him, but he started last match for him. Lafelsend probably start in the midfield, and then we're going to get Kralic. Kralic has been a guy who's been in MLS for many seasons. He's kind of lost playing time past year or two. Musovski, again, these are kind of just like second-rate players at this point. And this is a pretty massive travel here from Salt Lake to DC. So you got the travel in there, and then you got guys who just don't normally play. So we'll look at the odds later, but the odds are they're going to be favoring DC United here. In terms of DC United, came out yesterday, I believe. Cudi Pietro will be out for a few weeks. Paulson's out on the back line. Taxi Fountas has been out. We could see Ruan and Nahar back from injuries, but otherwise, mostly set squad for DC. So I think they'll have an edge here, especially at home. We could see Christian Dejome get his first start for DC. He transferred from the Whitecaps about, a month ago or so. SKC home against LAFC. The big question for LAFC, I think, will be, maybe it's not a question, but Diego Palacios kind of ignored, but he was called up by the Ecuador national team, didn't show up, played Wednesday in LAFC's home loss against Houston. Of note, he played in the midfield. Maldonado, another guy that wasn't allowed to go to the national team. So you got these guys who were not allowed to go to the national team. They're kind of grasping for straws here in terms of available options to play. Carlos Vela just has not looked as good this season as prior seasons. They started Stipe Biuk and Mateusz Bogusz up front in Wednesday's match, but we know that Opoku is going to be suspended. Also, I think he's on international break as well. And then Buanga's out. We know Cifuentes is out as well. So those two guys are out. Kellen Acosta is probably going to be out as well because of injury. So they got all these question marks in here. SKC has been playing better lately as well. And I think their only main new absence is Sionis, a Greek forward. He's been playing. He's probably started the last 4 or 5 matches in the front three for him. So we could see Kyrie Shelton start up front for him. But otherwise, mostly a set squad for Sporting Kansas City. The midfield is pretty set. Radoja has been pretty good for him since coming in. I think he's a former Levante player. I believe that's where he came from in La Liga. Let me just double check. Yeah, he came from Levante, Celta Vigo. So experienced La Liga player. I think he's really turned around their midfield, turned around their squad a little bit. And I've been betting SKC last few matches. They haven't been favored by that much in recent home matches, and I'm kind of benefited from that. But they're mostly full squad. Alan Pulido is also getting back to health, so that's another boost for them. Nashville, we have Zimmerman has been injured, but he's away with the USA, who just won against Mexico in the Gold Cup. But he's not even playing because I don't think he's healthy. But Fafa Picault is also out. Anibal Godoy is out as well. But I think that the only I guess we'll see on the back line, McNaughton left with an injury for Nashville last weekend, so we could see like a random a strange, maybe not strange, but random start for Josh Bauer, who just, I don't think he has an MLS start in his career. As you can see, he went 63 minutes last weekend. So that'll be something to keep an eye on. If Bauer starts, it will be his first start. But again, Nashville are just a really good team at home, a better team at home, and one of the best teams in the league. So, but I think the main thing in terms of lineups would be Schaffelberg coming in for Picault. I think that is the main one, and then we'll see what happens with McNaughton on the back line. As for St. Louis, Edward Lowen missed training earlier in the week, and he's the big question here because he's one of their better players in St. Louis's debut season in MLS. So that'll be something to keep an eye on. If he's not in there, definitely a downgrade for St. Louis, who is already okay away from home, I'll say. Blom, I'm not sure how to say his name. Njabulo Blom is also out playing for South Africa, and he's been starting in the defensive midfield for him. So there's another absence for him. Again, we'll see how they line up. I don't think they have that deep of a team as a new league expansion team. So something to keep an eye on. And Nashville just always good at home. San Jose against Portland. What do we got? I think Trauco is out. Acapo, Zdroik, Montero. Yeah, all these guys. So there's a couple changes here with San Jose. I think the big one would be Baldissimo or someone else, someone else starting in the midfield for San Jose. It'd be Nico Sakiris. So two guys who, maybe a combined 3-4 starts on the season for San Jose starting in the midfield. So something to keep an eye on. But Jackson Ewell, Judson Tavares, two experienced guys to where maybe it's not that big of a deal. As for Portland, they've had a ton of injuries this season. I don't think anyone relevant is actually gone on away for the international break. Everyone is just injured. So it looks like a pretty set squad for them here. But that's kind of it in terms of lineups. This is much longer than I thought it was going to be. I just went 10 minutes on all these absences. So as you can see, if you're new to MLS, so many absences because of the international break. MLS doesn't care. But actually, okay, I need to get in some bets here. Just reading some comments here from our guy Chris Robinson. Yeah, MLS doesn't care. These games are continuing. They want to get these games in. There's the Leagues Cup happening in a month and a half from now. But okay, let's get in some bets. So unsurprisingly, I'm going to be leaning on home teams. That's the way to go. I find it difficult. Maybe if I betting on an away team, I did on Dynamo earlier this week. They were at LAFC, who have been struggling. So I bet against LAFC, and that's not too surprising. But just in terms of these games, as you can see, all the home teams are favored. Again, this is our betting page on RotoWire. So I'm going to be looking at all these. SKC money line, I'll grab that. I'll probably throw in Sporting Kansas City double chance as well, with maybe San Jose double chance, and then that'll probably be about even odds right there. So you can get, maybe I won't say creative, but you can look at a few different ways. The Revs at only -120 to win, I think is pretty good value when you consider Orlando is without Cartagena and without Facundo Torres. Also without, their top goalkeeper as well. Granted, so are the Revs, but it's just kind of in the back of my mind that the last time I bet on the Revs at home, they lost, or they drew 3-3 against a pretty bad team. But DC United -140. I thought I saw like a -120 earlier in the week, but -140. I'll still take that. We're still getting a heavily rotated Real Salt Lake side, kind of avoiding the NYC Columbus Crew game, just because I don't have a ton of trust in the home team there. So if you want just like a home parlay, we definitely think Nashville are going to win. So they're at -150. And then pick who you want here. Can you trust Wayne Rooney and DC United? Maybe against Real Salt Lake, but I do like the Revs. I do like SKC. The Earthquakes at home against Portland. I'm not entirely sold on San Jose winning that one, but I think you start with Nashville to win, even with a couple absences, and then and then you kind of mix and match from there if you want to do a parlay or if you just want to do singular bets. If you if you follow Kits and Wagers, if you follow our betting show for the Premier League, I'm always interested in corner betting. And one of the main reasons that got me onto this onto doing the show is I hit a Houston Dynamo first to 5 corners on Wednesday's match because that was crazy. Plus 600 odds in that one. It's a bit just like surprising odds. I didn't find any odds that were as surprising when I scroll through these 6 matches, but you can find things like that in MLS because MLS is less popular than the Premier League. So you're gonna find better odds because there's not as many sharps, there's not as many people betting certain ways, kind of thing, and the market just isn't as good as more popular leagues. So you will find things like that. Okay, so let me run through some race to corner bets here. Revs heavily favored here to get corners. I don't see a great spot to hit. I mean, those plus 600 odds were just crazy because that just doesn't exist here. I'm just looking through the list. The best odds for an underdog race to 5 corners, I think, is the Timbers at plus 285. It's like, okay, that's just not. This is not the same. That plus 600 really stood out to me. But I would look at, if you want to do first half corner bets, if you want to bank on home teams, kind of a thing. So I would look at SKC in terms of first half corner bets. I would look at Nashville in terms of first half corner bets. So we have, let me check here, this actually moved already because this was minus 0.5 like 30 minutes ago when I was looking at this. So Sporting KC minus 0.75 first half corners is minus 110. And then also Nashville minus 0.75, minus 115. These are first half corner bets. Let me see if you can actually parlay these or not. Sometimes it'll allow you to, sometimes it won't. Okay, yeah, plus 256 on those. So those are ones I'd say I like the most in terms of first half corner bets. I just think both teams at home. I don't think that the absences of Nashville are going to be that massive, especially at home. Just a great home team. And then LAFC are struggling. I'll take SKC here at home, who I think they've won their last 2 or 3 matches. But I'm not sure how much I gave today in terms of bets. I just said take home teams, bet on home corners, bet on home teams. Maybe I should look at, the over-unders a little bit, but this show is already a little longer than I wanted. I'll say crew matches are always kind of wild. So if you want to go goals there, let's quickly look at some of these over-unders. I'm not sold on LAFC over. I'd actually look at under in that one. Just because LAFC are really struggling. They had that 1-0 home loss against Houston, and Sporting Kansas City have been playing well. I think their midfield will win that battle. Maybe look at the over in Nashville. I'm not sold on St. Louis's defense away from home. And then if we got Josh Bauer starting the back line, I think St. Louis can grab at least one there. Portland, San Jose, I'll say the under in that one. Revs Orlando, that one's a little tough. Revs have been in some higher scoring matches. I'll pass on that. And let's just say Wayne Rooney, Real Salt Lake, I'll take over 2.5 here. That's minus 140, but maybe we'll get a 3-1 result. So let's go the over 3.5 plus 180. But there you go. As with any MLS betting show, look at home teams and ride from there. 19 minutes in, I think I've talked enough about 6 MLS matches. Maybe I'll do some more of these in the future. Wednesday, there's a ton of matches, and then it just keeps going and going and going. So we'll see. We'll see. I've been betting MLS for the past couple months here. It's been hit or miss. But my bread and butter is just parlaying 2 teams at home I think are going to win. And for the most part, I think that it's worked out well. There are some bad weekends, some worse weekends than others, but as long as you back teams that you can trust, I want to say, yeah, you're not going to end in the negative, because a team like NYC FC is a team I wouldn't trust. Plus 120. I don't care that they're at home, really. So that's the kind of thing I look at there. Yeah, I'm not even sure I'd trust DC United, but the rotation around Salt Lake is something that I think it's already being put into the odds here, as well as the the west to east travel. But that's all I got. You can find me at Roto Zdroik on Twitter. Let's win some bets this weekend. If I didn't make any sense, if you have no idea what bets I just suggested, find me on Twitter at Roto Zdroik. I'll definitely be on putting some bets in. Also, DraftKings betting group. If you want to get an invite to that, or if you want to find it, I believe it's just under DraftKings Soccer on DraftKings. You can find all. We got a group of people that throw in whatever bets. I'll throw in bets every day almost in all these MLS matches as well. So find that. Thanks for watching this. Maybe I'll save her next week. We'll see what happens, but let's win some money, I guess. I think we can win some money. Let's win some money. Okay, let's win some money.